Welcome to the point on Yosi Kingdom. My name is Yosi, and today we're going to be looking at why a lot of people are leaving the country. The governor of Zamfara State and some other governors in the north are seeking to allow its people to be permitted to carry guns. Then voters card or the NIN, which should be permitted to be used in the coming elections. And finally, we'll be looking at what is going on with ASUU. And we'll be looking at this and so much more. So let's get to the point. I believe it is no news that a lot of people are leaving Nigeria. And for those who are in Nigeria and are wondering why is this so, or for those who are outside of the country and are wondering why Nigerians are everywhere, this is to answer that. Now, I must first of all make this clear that I am not trying to encourage anyone to leave Nigeria or to stay in Nigeria. All I'm just doing is to give the reasons behind why people are flocking out of the country. And the number one reason why people are leaving the country is because of money. People are trying to gain wealth, good, legit, clean wealth, and they want to be able to have the nice things of life, which is not something that is bad to desire. Now, the average Nigerian cannot dream of owning their own house. Like, it's almost impossible, except they're doing something grand. Most people do not earn up to 1 million naira in a month. So we can just do this simple math. Let's say a couple, they each earn 500,000 naira monthly, making a total of 1 million naira monthly. That means they'll be making a total of 12 million naira per year. Now let's look at some of the things that they're going to be spending money on to see what will be left for them as savings at the end of the year. Now we look at how much they will most likely spend in a year on their house, food, utility, transportation, their children's school fees, and of course, vacation. Now, how much is left? Now, if you want to get a very good house in Nigeria, the starting point is, from 70 to 100, from 100 to 200, from, 600 to 800, depending on the kind of house and the location that it is in. Now, if they're able to save 2 million naira in a year, how long will it take them to be able to own a 200 million naira house? Now, that is the argument. And that is why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria, because of money, because they want to be able to afford the nice things. They want to be able to afford to have a house. They want to be able to afford to own, good cars. I mean, they want to be able to ride good cars. I've not even spoken about, how much they will spend on getting good cars or being able to do so many things that they would want to do, to run businesses and do, great things that they want to achieve. So I believe that the major reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because they want to make that money. They want to be able to, own good things. They want to be able to have the nice things of life, which are very good things to desire. And they want to work in a system where it will encourage them and they'll be able to get the reward for their labor, as opposed to just laboring and not having anything to show for it. And who doesn't want to leave a good inheritance for their children? So this is the number one reason why people are leaving Nigeria. The second reason is schooling. This is the second route that people use to leave Nigeria because, first of all, they want to go to better quality schools and they want to go to a school that they will not have to be, going on strike every single time. People that are supposed to go for a 4-year course are ending up spending 6 years or even 8 years in the school because of constant strike that, ASUU always have, because of strike here and there. So they just want to be able to go to school and know that if they're going for a 4-year course, at the end of 4 years, they will be out, as opposed to, wasting years of their life being in school because some people are just, having a strike, and also because they want to have a high quality education that will be recognized globally. I mean, many of the schools in Nigeria are not going to be recognized or held with so much prestige as some other universities outside of the country, and that's why people that even study in Nigeria for their BSc or their BA, they would rather do a master's outside of the country to augment that. The third reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because of the healthcare system. Now, I always will say this: a Nigerian is just one major sickness away from poverty because we don't even have a very good insurance system in Nigeria. For example, I remember paying a lot of money for a particular insurance, and after 2 admissions, I was told that I had exceeded the limit in my insurance, and so it was over for the year. And I was so pissed off because it was just not worth it at all. And it's not just about the insurance thing, but the fact that the healthcare system and the quality of the healthcare system is really terrible. I did a video about how Nigeria almost deformed me, and you can check out that video where I really go in depth about how backwards Nigeria is in terms of medicine, in terms of healthcare. They are really backwards on a lot of things. And so when you see what they are doing in Nigeria, you're just wondering, why is that so? Now let me first of all clarify that this is not the fault of the doctors. It's actually the fault of the government because they do not put the necessary equipment and things in place to allow these doctors to be able to do their work really well. So they have to just work work with what they have. Now, that is why a lot of doctors are leaving the country so that they can begin to work in a system that allows them to be able to show their skills and be able to help people in a better capacity as opposed to what we are seeing in the country today. So we're just working with the limited resources, the backward resources that is not able to save a lot of lives. So what that means is that a lot of lives get lost because we do not have the necessary equipment to be able to manage certain issues in the hospital. And this is why people are leaving the country, because they cannot risk, anything happening to them and they will just die because of the lack of infrastructure in place. If somebody has an accident, there is no rapid rescue to know how to, move the person to the hospital in a safe way that would, prevent the person from worsening the situation and all of those kind of things. So we see that because the healthcare system is really backwards because of the lack of the necessary, tools in place, people just feel like they don't want to risk the lives of themselves and their loved ones. So they rather go to a country that they can enjoy a good health care. And this is especially for people who have health challenges. They do not want to risk it. So they rather be abroad and in a system where, they can enjoy a good health care. Now, another major reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because of the heightened level of insecurity. We are seeing terrorism, ritual killings, and kidnappings going on in almost every space. And so people are just getting really scared to go out. People are afraid to just do the random things. People are afraid to even go out in the evenings because they just don't know what can happen. Insecurity is increasing and increasing, and people just sense that Nigeria is on the brink of a war or a civil unrest. So people just feel like before things get out of hand, they want to leave the country. Before things will explode. There's word on the streets that they're trying to make Nigeria an Islamic country, and people are trying to avoid that, or they're trying to escape the country before it becomes that. So you see that there's this level of insecurity and unease that's going on among the people. So they want to rather go to a place where they feel some level of security, or they will know that the security personnel they will be able to take action should anything happen. Unlike here, where the police will have to be giving money before they were able to attend to you, and it's the person that has the most money that would win. Like they will not really attend to situations really seriously. And of course, the police is not even properly equipped to handle, more delicate situations. So people just feel like, their security is not guaranteed in Nigeria. I can just imagine somebody being stopped in Nigeria. What would the police do? They just tell you that if he just likes you now, just rest. That's what they would tell you. Like, I don't think they would do anything actively to help you. I remember going to the police to complain that somebody threatened my life and show them proof. And I had the person's, ID, the person's phone number, everything that they needed to trace this person. And they said they needed me to pay 30,000 naira for them to trace this person's phone to get them and to arrest them. And I'm like, why do I have to pay for you to do this service? So that means for me to get police protection, I have to pay them like as if I'm paying for a private job. The police say that, bail is free, yet they collect money for bail. And you see that there's so much corruption going on in the police force, in the military, every, security unit. So you see that Nigerians do not trust their security personnel. And they feel like even if there's going to be, any kind of threat to Nigeria from an external party, like Nigeria cannot even stand. Like they don't believe that Nigeria can actually defend itself. So the people in Nigeria feel like the government do not care about their lives because they themselves, are protected by the police around them all the time. So they really don't care about the masses in terms of the masses security, and they do not want to risk their lives. So they'll rather just go to a country that works. And they don't mind working hard to function there and all of that, but they rather go to where they have a chance of survival. Another major reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because they want to gain citizenship to one of the top countries. They want to enjoy the rights, the defense, and the protection that their government give to their people because the government actually values the lives of its people, as opposed to Nigeria where we feel like the government do not even care about us and the government can treat us anyhow. Like they really do not care how we function. They do not care whether our children do not go to school or not. They do not care that a lot of children are sitting down at home and not going to school because they refuse to pay the salary of the teachers and the teachers are on strike. They do not do anything about the insecurity. They're not doing anything about, protecting the lives of their people in the country and even outside of the country. So people just rather want to be a part of a system that would protect its citizens, that would value the lives of its people. And that's why people are trying to get citizenship in one of these top countries that will be able to provide them with these benefits. And of course, in so doing, they'll give their loyalty to these countries. And of course, another major reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because they want to be able to travel to different countries without having to go through the hassle of, applying for a visa all the time. And these countries having a permanent residency or citizenship in one of these top countries so that they're able to travel across the world without any, hassle at all. Now, I believe that these are the major reasons why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria. And if there's anyone that I have not yet mentioned, please leave them in the comment section and perhaps I'll do another video addressing them. Now, Zamfara state governor and some other governors in the north are seeking to allow its people to be permitted to carry guns. Now, one thing we need to understand with this is that, first of all, the idea of wanting people to carry guns might seem like it makes sense because people will be like, these states, they are going through a lot of, hits by these terrorists. And so they want people to be able to defend themselves. I mean, we saw what went on in Owo, and so people will be like, if people were allowed to carry guns, I mean, people might be able to defend themselves. And it might seem like it makes a lot of sense. But we must understand that this goes beyond what we see on the surface. This can actually really destroy Nigeria, like in a great deal. And let's look at what this means. Now, one thing we must understand is that for the government to say this, what they are saying is that they have failed, meaning that they are not able to protect you. You are on your own. What they are saying is that we should go back to the jungle life, which is survival of the fittest. If you are slow, you get the bullet. Because if they're telling us that we should get guns for ourselves, what they're trying to say is that you are the one that will be able to defend yourself. So it is about a survival of the fittest situation. We are back to jungle life. We are back to primitive times. Everybody should find a way to survive for themselves. That is what it is. And what they are saying is that they are unable to protect its people, which is a very terrible thing for people to hear. Now, one thing you must understand is that these governors and these, politicians are being guarded by, heavy security personnel. But we are on our own. So even if they put this system in place, they are kind of protected while we are the ones to face the brunt of everything. Let's take a look at America. America put this in place and we are seeing massive shootings going on across board. Now, let's even remember what went on with Deborah. When Deborah was killed because of, she was accused of blasphemy. And if you read the amount of tweets that were in support of this, that tells you the mindset of a lot of people, that they feel like she deserved death because she blasphemed against, the prophet. Now, what is that telling us? If random people are allowed to carry guns, anyone who just annoys anybody for whatever reason can easily just bring out the gun and shoot the person because they felt that they offended, something that they hold precious, whether it's their religion, whether it is, what they stand for, whatever the case may be. They can easily just pick up a gun and shoot. And we know that we don't even have the system in place to be able to help to control crime should it, go berserk. For example, at least abroad, they have, 911. So if somebody, comes to your house to threaten you, you can call 911 while you're even still holding your gun to defend yourself. But here, there's no 911. Like, before you call police, before they will come, before they will pass through traffic, I mean, things will have already gotten really terrible. Secondly, they do not have the proper forensics to be able to, find the criminals behind a particular crime in the aftermath of the crime. Like, they do not have all of those necessary things to put in place to be able to catch criminals. They do not have CCTV cameras in every street corner. They do not have, body cameras on police officers. So how then do they want to be able to, handle the situation? When everybody now owns a gun, they can do things and undo things. And the point is that those who want to still carry out the crime, they know how they will get their guns that are not registered and do whatever they want to do. And because these are not in place, they can easily get away with it. Normally, before you permit people to be allowed to carry guns, they must, go through trainings and they must pass their psych evaluation. Now, who wants to do that one in Nigeria? When ordinary driving license, they do not even do the proper thing to test people to ensure that they pass the driving test before allocating driving licenses to them. We see a lot of people on the road who do not know how to drive, who do not know the first thing about, driving rules, and yet they are on the road. And then we want to allow for people to be permitted to carry guns when we know that the things that are to be put in place will not be put in place or will not be followed. Honestly, to permit Nigerians to be able to carry guns will only increase the insecurity in Nigeria. It actually makes things ridiculously worse. And this brings me back to what I mentioned in a previous video on the point where I talked about, the behind the scenes of some of the policies that are being pushed or are being, advertised to us so that we would accept them because they want the best for us. And at the end of the day, it is to our own detriment. So we need to open our eyes. And if you've not checked that video out, please check it out here. It is quite insightful. Honestly, I do not see the point in, trying to solve a problem with another problem, whereas we can actually go to things that can actually bring a solution. For example, train the police force, ensure that they are really accountable and they can give account for everything that they do, ensure that they have cameras, body cameras, so that when they're going about their work, they are able to cover what they are doing, so they cannot just misbehave anyhow. Ensure that there are CCTV cameras in every street corner in the country. Why can Nigeria not have that as at 2022? It doesn't make any sense. Thirdly, ensure that major streets and corners have security checkpoints. I mean, if somebody is going to be able to, go into a school and kidnap a lot of children and pass several checkpoints and no police officers saw them, then all those police officers should be brought together and prosecuted for negligence and endangering the lives of people. That is actually how it's supposed to be. Like we need to be demanding a heightened level of security in the country. And I think that the people have a part to play in this. If we do not clamor for this will not be done. We are busy going about our business because we still have a business to go to. God forbid that a time would come when we will not be able to easily go to work and back because there will be so much insecurity and fear when people are being attacked here and there. I mean, we have to start now to start demanding for our rights, start demanding that we are protected. It's not until what happened in Rwanda will repeat itself before our eyes will be opened. And any police officer that is found, wanting would have to face law and the sanctions will be very high. So we need to start demanding for a heightened level of security. I do not have all the answers, but I'm sure that we can begin to brainstorm and, talk about this, and you can leave a comment in the comment section so that we can address what you think can be the solution for this. So let's look at what happened in the whole NSAS protest. When they brought the soldiers and they shot, everybody dispersed. And ever since then, if you want to protest about anything, they will just bring soldiers, everybody will run away. But we must understand that we can actually control what happens. Now we know that they can go that low. So we are ready to protest with our phones and our cameras on. Everybody is recording. We have drones that are circulating, that are filming what is going on there. At least let them off the camera. We have our own cameras. We have our drones. We have everything that is in place to protect the people and so that we can protest effectively. And let us see how they'll be able to hide under what they were able to hide under the last time. Now we are better prepared. Now we know how low they can go. And so we can really, really protest to get what we want. So we need to keep on seeking for this. We are able to go to America because the blacks were able to protest to allow a system that would favor them and allow them to thrive. That's why we can get there. So we need to understand that if we do not protect our country, we will lose it. That's what it is. We will lose it. I believe that policing should be done per state. This will enable, states to be very particular about, increasing the security in their state so that they will not disgrace themselves where it is their state that has the highest level of insecurity. Secondly, there needs to be, communal security units being put in place to protect people at the communal level, at, smaller levels within the state. This way, we are increasing the level of security, making it difficult for criminals to be able to carry out their crime. I'll be honest to say that I do not have all the answers. I would like to hear what you have to say regarding this. So please leave a comment in the comment section and I would like to read what you have to say. Now let's go to, permanent voters card or the NIN, which should be permitted to be used in the coming elections. I believe that since we already have the NIN, I do not get why we are still clamoring for the PVC. The NIN is our national identification number, and that should be enough to allow anybody to be able to vote. We have our fingerprint there, we have our facial recognition and everything being put in place. So why is it that we are still talking about voters card? I believe that with the NIN, it will reduce the possibility of rigging to the barest minimum, unlike what we were seeing with the PVC, where people would have to, come to the polling units. They will have to first of all verify their voters card, and you will hear things like the machine is not working, the fingerprint is not, being able to read, somebody cannot find their voters card and so they cannot vote. But everybody who has a NIN is entitled to one vote. One NIN, one vote. So if you're able to come there and you have your NIN or you know your NIN, whatever, you're able to just go there and, type in your NIN. It brings out your information and you see where you can vote, and then you vote, and that is it. Electronically, everything is done. We move on. So it removes the situations that we used to see where maybe 200 people are registered in a particular polling unit, and so they bring 200 ballot papers for that unit, and only 150 people come to vote. So we have 50 ballot papers left, and so random people can now begin to just put their fingerprints on the remaining ballot papers, and then that is how election is rigged. But with the fact that you have to have the NIN, and the NIN shows the person's face to verify that face before you can vote, then it allows the possibility of rigging to be reduced to the barest minimum. I do not see a reason why in 2022 we are still not having an electronic voting system. I mean, even if you have to go to polling centers to vote, digitally, there's no problem. But at least you should not be using paper anymore because it can easily be rigged. And this is just my opinion regarding this. Now to ASUU, I really do not know what is going on with ASUU. All I'm just going to say is this. People have been in their houses, not going to school for so long, whereas the governor's children and the senator's children and all these politicians' children are busy going to schools abroad, enjoying themselves and having a good time, while the average Nigerian child is sitting down at home and not being able to further their studies or being able to move forward in their lives because they are being held back. You see people that are supposed to, be in school for 4 years, ending up spending 6 to even 8 years. That's double of the time in school, simply because there is one strike after another, one issue after another. It is ridiculous. This is why a lot of people are leaving the country, and I believe that this needs to stop. But I believe that it still lies with you and I being intentional about holding the government accountable. We cannot keep on being scared and we don't vote, we keep quiet and we just mind our business. How long are we going to continue doing that? People have been at home for so long, they cannot even move forward. If you even want to leave the country, how are you going to be able to do that when the basic requirement is that you should be at least a graduate and you don't even have a graduate certificate because you have not graduated, you have been in school for so long, you cannot move on. Why is that so? Like, we need to understand that it is holding us back, it's making us stagnant. And if you really want change, I don't believe that the answer lies in just minding your business. I believe that people should understand that they need to come out to peacefully protest, to demand for the government to, do right. And as I said before, if you want to protest, protest with sense. We know how low that they can go. I mean, we saw what happened with the End SARS protest. So we come out with our, phones, recording what is going on, with drones flying ahead of us and everything being recorded so that they cannot do anything in the darkness. So that at least if they try anything, the entire, world will see what they are doing. Like, we need to start holding the government accountable to its people and demanding what we want in this country. Otherwise, our children will be suffering for it, whereas their own children are enjoying. I remember being told about how protests used to go in the university, how they will sit down in the front of the VC's house and be beating pots and beating drums and, cooking food safe in front of the place and saying, answer us, so we want light, we want this, we want that. And they will really force the hand of the VC to actually make changes in the school. I'm talking about us demanding for our rights without us being cowardly. We need to think about, our future. We need to think about the fact that if these children do not go to school, how would they be able to move forward in life? Like, we need to understand that they need to be, fought for. The lives of our young ones need to be fought for. The education of our young ones need to be fought for. We cannot keep on ignoring these things. And for those who can afford to go out of the country to school, I would encourage that as opposed to staying here and spending extra years being held bound by ASUU and being held bound by the government. I feel like we need to start demanding for change in this country. Otherwise, we should just be ready to eat whatever thing that we are dealt. And also on the international scene, the Roe v. Wade, stand and the, halts on abortion. And I'm so excited about this because it shows that there are people that are actually thinking of these unborn children and the fact that they understand that life begins at conception. I mean, this is basic science. So I'm really happy that this is happening. I was seeing videos of people saying that they have stopped having sex with their partners because of this, that they are suffering people because of this. And I'm just like, if it's the price to pay to prevent children from being murdered, then I say praise the Lord. If you say that you're not going to be having sex because of this, all the more praise the Lord. If you are saying that you cannot have sex and protect yourself maximally from getting pregnant, and you rather have careless sex because you know that if you get pregnant you can easily abort, then this is just a sad reality that we're seeing, that people would rather have careless sex just because they know that they can easily abort the child and they don't really care about the life that is being lost. Now, this is being put in place to ensure that the life of children are not being lost, because if a tadpole is a living thing, then a fetus is a living thing. If an ant is a living thing, then a fetus is a living thing, and it's a living human and deserves to live. Also, the late singer Osinachi was finally buried, and I believe that this is a time to remind people who are going through any form of domestic violence to speak up and to leave the situation immediately. This is not worth it for yourself and for the lives of your children as well, because your children seeing you getting beaten is only registering a lot of negative things to them. One is that they might see that this is a pattern and they might want to continue doing that to the next generation. Secondly, you can actually traumatize and scare your children from ever wanting to get married. I mean, and always hating on the other sex. Now, see, your children's sanity is very important. Your sanity is actually very important. Your safety is important as well. You do not want to risk the life of your children. We see people who stayed with violent partners and these partners ended up killing their children. I mean, you don't want to risk the life of your children. You need help, and there are people that are there to help you. You can contact us via the details in the description and we will be able to reach out to you. Your safety is a priority. Your life is a priority. The life of your children is a priority as well. And so take it seriously. Do not risk your life. Do not risk your sanity. Do not risk yourself. Now, please come out of that violent situation. It's for your own good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode on The Point. And if so, please ensure that you subscribe to this channel and that you click the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video. We love to have you join this kingdom. And of course, doing so also helps this video to get to as many people as possible. So if you're passionate about, allowing the right narrative to get out there, then please ensure that you not only subscribe to this channel, but that you share it with somebody else. Let them watch it, because we are always passionate about ensuring your outstanding self ignites. And you can head on to our page to watch some of our other videos regarding womanhood, regarding lifestyle, regarding the country, regarding so many things. And of course, even The Point, where we talk about what is going on in society today. Check them out, and of course, you would enjoy them. I remain Yosi. Bye.